Good morning. Dr. Fitzpatrick, Dr. Dickinson, colleagues, platform guests, graduates, family and friends. Today is such a special day, the end of one journey and the beginning of your next chapter. I am honored to join you here today. I'm humbled and I'm thankful. To be honest, oops, just pulled one of those pins. I never engaged in social justice work for any awards or accolades. And as I listened to Mackie, who was not a social work student, by the way, she neglected to mention that, totally outside of my faculty, and she was relentless. She knocked on my door until I said yes, I would be on her committee. I simply led the change I wanted to see. And Dr. Mackie highlighted a lot of the things that I was able to accomplish. But the rewards are public validation of the work on anti-racism and social justice at a time when it wasn't so popular to be doing that work. And I want to sincerely thank every person with whom I have worked over these past 5 decades, because this work hasn't been a solo sport. I've done this work with others. And I especially want to thank my family, many of whom are here today, because they form the very foundation of the work that I do. Today, graduates, we're here to celebrate your achievement and success. A post-secondary education is a ticket to one of the most important journeys that you will ever take in your life, your career path. And yes, finally, you're in the driver's seat. As a student of the civil rights movement, I came to understand the responsibility I had to use my education for the upbuilding of my community and to create change in our society. And graduates, I invite you to see your career journey in a similar way. Ask yourselves, how is the work that I do as an educator contributing to social change and social justice? I knew I had a duty and a responsibility to fight for rights because I was given access to post-secondary education by people who believed in me when I did not and could not believe in myself. Many of you are receiving your second or maybe your third degree today in education. As educators, you have an incredible responsibility because you can make a difference. As the late, great Bell Hooks said, you can transform classrooms when you dare to teach, to transgress. Back in the early 1990s, when I was doing my doctoral research with Black men in Sheffield, England, and Halifax, Nova Scotia, exploring factors that helped them to survive in societies where they were expected to fail, a major theme that emerged was the significance of education, or more specifically, the difference that one person made. And although most of my participants had negative experiences with education, they all appreciated that one teacher who made a difference, a teacher who supported them, encouraged them, believed in them, and helped them to believe in themselves. Graduates, I invite you to be that one teacher for the students who will be lucky enough to enter your classrooms. That may seem daunting, and you may feel a level of anxiety about that responsibility. However, I invite you to be brave. I invite you to be courageous. I invite you to be brave enough to be a source of inspiration in every place where you teach. I invite you to lead from your heart and make your classrooms a place of inclusion and a place of caring. Make your classrooms a place of belonging for all students. Make your classrooms a space where the seeds of social justice are planted and nurtured every single day. I recently had a student write the following in an end-of-term reflection, and yes, I still do some teaching. Can't help myself. I love it. This student wrote, "Last semester, I began to question if I made the right decision to return to school. I had to ask myself if a degree in social work was worth the amount of anxiety, discomfort, and isolation I felt every time I entered a classroom. I was extremely close to giving up. But then I entered a space where my identity was placed in the center, and my spirit began to revitalize. I was able to regain the much-needed critical hope that this institution had strategically drained out of me over the years. The comfort and belonging I felt in Wanda's class prove that positive change is possible." This student's reflection is a reminder of the power we have as educators. And that's why I'm sharing it here today. It's a reminder of the power we have, but it's also a reminder of the responsibility we have to lead change. So I invite you to think about your classroom as a site for transformative change. I invite you to use pedagogical practices as tools for reparations, tools to repair harms that are caused in other places. I invite you to teach to transgress. I invite you to teach your students to be critical thinkers. I invite you to teach your students to be engaged citizens. Let your classroom be a radical space of possibility. Let your classroom be a radical space of change. But let's be clear. Daring to teach to transgress will come with costs. You will face challenges. You will face opposition. You will face criticism. You will face barriers. You may even face hostility. But I invite you to find the courage to face those struggles with grace and humility, to let those experiences make you better, not bitter. What you learn from facing barriers will become important life lessons on your career journey. Struggle does not have to define you. How you deal with the struggles can be soul-sustaining. How you deal with the struggles can be character-building. Continue your career path as an educator with determination, with dedication, and with courage. Lead the change you want to see. Our society needs more educators who are willing to tear down systemic barriers to help others to achieve success. And now more than ever, we need educators who will influence, who will inspire, encourage, support, motivate, and challenge students, our students, the next generation, to be the best that they can be. That, my friends, is teaching to transgress. That, my friends, is teaching to transform. Today, graduates, you join hundreds of other graduates of the Mount, as we fondly called it. During this 150th anniversary year, you join an army of people who have been breaking barriers, challenging the status quo, and leading change. I am here because the Mount broke barriers to create space for my late sister, Valerie Thomas Hodges, and our cousin, Connie Glasgow White, and I, the first 3 people from East Preston to attend and complete a university degree. We were 3 of the Metro 9 in 1969. We were the largest group of African Nova Scotian students to attend university in any one year. Imagine, 1969, we've been here since the 1600s. Today, you join hundreds of Mount graduates who have inspired and influenced change. And today, I have the privilege of publicly thanking Mount St. Vincent University for opening its doors to me, not once, but twice, which put me on a career path to becoming a social justice advocate. So I'm going to tell you a little secret. Not many people know this, but I failed my first year of university. I was not allowed to come back. I was 16 years old. I was only 15 when I came here. I was 16 years old. I left high school at grade 11, so I didn't have, quote unquote, a high school diploma. I'd flunked out of my first year here at the Mount, and I was desperately looking for work. And who would hire a 16-year-old? I literally had to go across the street to my grandfather's house to use the telephone because we were so poor we didn't have a phone. I used my grandfather's phone to phone into an open line radio show. And that morning, the talk was, what do you need help with? I thought, I need help with a job. I need someone to give me a job. I went on the radio. I found the courage. I found the courage to accept the space that I was in, a space of failure, a space of depression. And I found the courage to reach out to say, I need help. Someone called and gave me a job. It was probably the best thing that could have happened because he was a manager at Beaver Foods at Dalhousie University. He gave me a job as a cook and waitress at the medical school at Dalhousie. And 1 year there, making Western sandwiches, fried eggs, I knew that I wanted to do something different. After 1 year of that, I went back, and not to say anything negative about that work. That's important work. That is important work, so I don't want anyone to feel I'm disrespecting that work. I'm just saying that I knew I was given an opportunity, and I blew it. But I knew that didn't have to be my end. So I went to the Mount one day, and I begged the president to give me a second chance, to let me come back. And after 2 years of working at Dalhousie as a short order cook, I went back to Mount St. Vincent and I completed my bachelor's degree. And let me tell you, that degree changed my life and put me on a career path that even sometimes I wonder how I did it all. As I was listening to Dr. Mackey, I'm thinking, I remember doing that, yes. I did all of that. And so I say, graduates, so to the Mount, I want to say thank you for that second chance. It wasn't wasted. It wasn't wasted. It positioned me to be where I am today. And I thank you for this great honor. And graduates, if you lift as you teach, your rewards will be experienced through the success of your students. Let the Afrocentric principle Ujima, which means collective work and responsibility, guide your journey. Congratulations to every graduate, and also congratulations to your family and friends who've helped you along this journey. You know who they are. As educators, you are leaders. And true leadership is about inspiring and bringing others along. Dare to transgress, and you will inspire others. Asante. Thank you.